My name is Ovtcharov. I come from Russia, from the beautiful city of St. Petersburg, and now I'm a professor at the Yonsei University in Seoul, and I welcome you at our concert on May 13th, where we play 2 Chopin piano concertos. This concert is hosted by the Tchaikovsky Foundation of Korea. And the purpose of the Tchaikovsky Foundation is to bring Russian musicians, composers and interpreters closer to Korean audience. Korean audience knows very well about such musicians such as Rachmaninoff or Tchaikovsky, and we don't need to explain more about them, but we want to explain more about musicians who are not yet so well known. And Heinrich Neuhaus is one of them. He was maybe the main pedagogue and main teacher, piano teacher in the Russia in 20th century. His famous students such as Sviatoslav Richter or Gilles, Emil Gilles, also became very famous. Okay, sure, I feel very happy and excited to perform in this concert because most of us, all we Russian musicians, somehow connected with the name of Neuhaus. As you know, in Korea we have some musicians who studied with Neuhaus' student, with Mr. Naumov, Professor Naumov, and this is the Im Dong-hyuk and his brother. And also in my case, I studied with a Russian teacher, Mrs. Rudova, who also studied with a student of Neuhaus. So somehow the Russian school world is very close and we are all very connected. So I'm very happy, I feel very happy and delighted to present the Neuhaus name to the Korean audience, yes. There are 2 reasons why we've chosen Chopin concertos for our program. The first reason is that the Heinrich Neuhaus was very famous for his Chopin interpretation. And we even know the very fantastic recording of his Chopin concerto, for example, number 1. But the second reason, when we thought of Chopin concerto, then I immediately thought about one person who is a very dear friend of mine. His name is Vladimir Svedlov-Ashkenazy. He's a nephew of very famous musician, pianist Vladimir Ashkenazy. And there is a small story connected with Chopin concerto and Vladimir. I'm not sure he will be happy if I tell it to the audience or not, but the story was when Vladimir played, he was a competitor in the very famous, maybe the most famous competition in the world. This is the Queen Elizabeth competition in Brussels. He played this, the second concerto of Chopin in the final round of this competition, and fortunately we have this recording, it exists and we can find it on YouTube. It was, from my opinion, the almost genius interpretation of this concerto. And in the same night, after he played this concerto, the audience was very happy, but in the same night he got a call. And this call was from Marta Argerich, from the very famous pianist, who was in the jury of this competition. And she was so excited with his interpretation that she couldn't sleep. And she called him and she wanted to express to him how fantastic his playing was. So I know this story, that's why my first thought was to invite Vladimir to play in this concert. As we know, Chopin composed both concertos in the age of just 20 years old. And for me is the biggest mystery and biggest secret how so young person could compose so mature music. This music for me is quite perfect. I can't erase one note or add one note because it's so absolutely perfect and complete. And maybe only in the final movements of both Chopin concertos I can hear a bit that Chopin was a young person, because both final movements of concertos are written in a style, in a folk music style. For example, the final of the first concerto is written in the rhythm of the Polish folk dance named Krakowiak, and the final movement of the second concerto is written in the maybe very close to mazurka, to another Polish dance, and the both are very, how to say, they have something very light and cheerful, and there I maybe can recognize a bit that Chopin was very young.